For years I thought success had a sound. It was the hum of an elevator in a glass tower, the buzz of my phone on a polished desk, the applause after a presentation that meant nothing. I lived inside that sound, until one morning I realized it had swallowed me whole. It started on a Tuesday, the kind of Tuesday that feels exactly like every other one. I woke before dawn, poured burnt coffee into a mug, and drove toward another meeting pretending to matter. The city pulsed outside my car window, its lights like overworked neurons. Inside there was just silence. My chest felt tight, not with anxiety, but with an emptiness disguised as achievement. We were all chasing the peak, only to find it was just another busy parking lot. At 36, I had the salary I'd dreamed of, the apartment with the skyline view, the wardrobe that screamed, "I belong here." Yet every night I scrolled endlessly, not to see, but to forget. To forget that my life had become an algorithm, efficient, optimized, hollow. That morning I sat through a meeting about maximizing quarterly engagement. Someone said the word authenticity 9 times in 40 minutes. No one seemed to notice the irony. By lunch, something inside me broke quietly, like a wire snapping deep in the dark. 2 weeks later, I packed what I could into a rusted pickup: clothes, a notebook, an axe I didn't know how to use, and a small mocha pot. I told no one where I was going. I just drove north, chasing colder air. The city shrank behind me, its skyline fading into a grey bruise on the horizon. The further I went, the more the silence began to breathe again. On the 3rd day, I found a valley cradled by mountains. A cabin sat there, abandoned but standing. Its roof leaned, its windows were cracked, but it looked like peace, dressed in wood and dust. That night I slept on the floor beside a dying fire, the wind rattling through the cracks. No sirens, no traffic, no clock, just darkness, honest and unfiltered. I remember thinking, this is the first real silence I've heard in years. People say moving off-grid is an escape. They're wrong, it's a trade. Comfort for clarity, convenience for consciousness. The great trade. The next morning I discovered I didn't know how to make a proper fire. I burned through half my matches before realizing the wood was damp. My coffee tasted like smoke and ash, but I drank it. For once, failure felt pure. Every small task was a new language. How to cut wood without splitting your shin, how to filter rainwater, how to listen for weather in the sound of the wind. In the city, my mistakes cost me reputation. Here, they just cost me time. And that difference was freedom. My life's rhythm shifted, not by meetings and emails, but by light and temperature. Sunrise meant movement. Sunset meant stillness. I stopped counting hours and started counting moments that felt real. One evening, while chopping wood, a storm rolled in. Rain came down in sheets, washing the dust from the roof and the noise from my head. I ran inside, soaked, laughing at how small I felt, how beautifully insignificant. My dinner was bread and beans, warmed on a cast-iron pan. I ate slowly by candlelight as thunder rolled over the hills. For the first time I felt full, not from food, but from sufficiency. In the city, I scrolled past endless ads whispering that I needed more. Here, I learned that enough is a sacred number you feel, not measure. By the end of the first month, I cleared a patch of land for a garden. The soil was stubborn, testing me before trusting me. I planted tomatoes, herbs, and a few wildflowers I couldn't name. At first, nothing grew, but I kept watering, kept waiting. Patience, I learned, isn't passive, it's faith with dirty hands. One morning, I found the first green shoot pushing through the earth. It was so small, trembling under the dew, but it was alive. And for reasons I couldn't explain, I cried. There's therapy in the soil. It mirrors back everything you hide. You nurture it, and it teaches you how to nurture yourself. You wait for it, and it shows you how to wait without despair. Sometimes late at night, I'd hear echoes of my old world. A phantom buzz of notifications, dreams of office lights glowing long after everyone had gone. Once I drove into town and saw people in a cafe, all staring at their screens. For a moment, I felt like a ghost visiting the living. Then I realized they were the ghosts. A woman asked where I lived. When I told her in the woods, she laughed softly. "That must be lonely," she said. I smiled. It's the first time I've ever felt company. Winter arrived early. The snow came down heavy and the roof began to leak. One night a storm cut the power. The cabin plunged into darkness. Panic flared. The old instinct to control, to fix, to optimize. But there was nothing to optimize here, only to endure. I sat by the cold hearth and fear whispered, "What are you doing here? You could have been comfortable." I let it speak. Then I whispered back, "Comfort never made me feel alive." By morning the storm had passed. The valley lay under a silence so thick it felt like prayer. When the first ray of sun touched the snow, I understood something simple. Survival isn't about strength. It's about surrender, to nature, to imperfection, to truth. Months passed. The forest became my mirror. I started noticing how the world healed itself when left alone. Burned trees sprouted green. Fallen logs became new ecosystems. I wondered if I could regenerate too by simply not interfering. The city taught me to chase improvement. The forest taught me to honor existence. In early spring, an old friend found me. He arrived in a shiny rental car wearing exhaustion like a designer suit. We talked beside the fire. He told me about promotions and market shifts. I told him about tomatoes and silence. He laughed. "So what's next for you?" I looked at the stars. I think, this is next. And after that, probably this again. He didn't understand, and for the first time, I didn't need him to. That night, I realized the man I used to be hadn't died here. He had simply become quiet enough to listen. Healing isn't about running away from pain. It's about sitting with it until it tells you what you need to know. The noise, the striving, it was all just my way of avoiding silence. And silence, it turns out, was the only thing honest enough to heal me. Summer returned. The garden bloomed, chaotic and wild, just like me. Home, I realized, isn't where you were born, but where you find the courage to be self-sufficient and the humility to need so little. I searched for life and I found it not in the speed of the city, but in the silence of the woods. It's been 2 years now. I still live here. People still ask if I'm lonely. I tell them the truth. Loneliness is what you feel when you're not honest about what you need. I needed space. I needed silence. I needed to remember what being human sounds like without background music. When I wake up now, I don't check my phone. I check the light. I check the air. I check my breath, still here, still steady. I used to survive by running faster. Now I survive by standing still. This isn't isolation. It's the quiet rebellion of being fully, unapologetically alive. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey. If this story resonated with you, consider subscribing for more reflections from the woods. Take care.